Faith leaders in Atlanta say they are sounding the alarm on democracy after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a key provision in the Voting Rights Act. Atlanta News First Bridget Spencer spoke with those clergy members at Big Bethel AME Church in Atlanta about their demands.
Yeah, the clergy members convened here at Atlanta's oldest black church, issuing a clarion call for voter participation, but also expressing frustration with the Supreme Court.
I do not understand how we can promote democracy abroad and we don't even practice democracy right here in this country.
Faith leaders gathered in the heart of the Sweet Auburn neighborhood for a call for voters of all parties to mobilize.
Let's vote. And let's vote like we have never voted before.
Last week, the Supreme Court struck down a section of the Voting Rights Act that carves out specific districts for voters of color on district maps. The group says this is a blatant attack on democracy.
This is not just about Donald Trump. This is not about the face that's on the poster. This is an ideology in America that says we will reshape democracy to enfranchise and disenfranchise other segments of America.
Supporters say they're glad that this effectively eliminates maps being drawn based on race.
I think that the Supreme Court has finally taken race out of redistricting, which we've been saying all along.
But opponents believe it dilutes the minority vote.
What we're seeing now, because of the Supreme Court's ruling last week in the Louisiana v. Calais case, is open season on minority voters.
Faith leaders believe these moves could very well strengthen their voter participation this fall, and that is what they're hoping for.
And we need for Americans, regardless of your ethnicity, regardless of party, regardless of opinion, it's time for Americans to stand up and say, I love my democracy.
In Sweet Auburn, Bridget Spencer, Atlanta News First.